This short video demonstrates how you can apply computer-specific licensing to your Excel workbook with Cloud License. You'll be able to apply a time-limited trial license, a product license, a subscription license, or a try-by license to your workbook. A corporate user with limited account permissions will be able to download and start using your macro-enabled Excel file without installing additional EXE or DLL files. Cloud License is an internet-based licensing system. That means that your user will need to be on the internet at least for a few minutes when they initially activate the workbook to their computer using a serial number that you provide. Cloud License is not specific to Excel workbooks. It can be used from any device or computer, but in this video we'll be focusing specifically on activating an Excel workbook. To implement Cloud License, the developer either needs an account on the Safe Activation service, or they can self-host the Cloud License server on their own Linux or Windows website. In this video, we'll just take a look at the Safe Activation service. The developer can log into their Safe Activation account. Within their account, they'll set up a batch of serial numbers, and we can see some serial numbers here have been generated, and they'll then link it to a license record that sets up the type of license that you want to implement. Here we have set up various kinds of licenses, and we're going to, during this video, specifically look at a simple product license. So the first step in the setup process is the developer will log into their Safe Activation account, set up a batch of serial numbers, and set up a record that defines the information about the license they want to implement. To apply Cloud License to your workbook, you'll need to add a few user forms and some VBA code that's already been developed for you in Excel CL. You'll just open up a workbook file, and within that workbook file you'll go to the VBA panel, and here you can see the user forms that you'll copy to your workbook along with a module that contains all the VBA code you need. And then, according to the instructions, you'll paste a little bit of code into this workbook and customize a few parameters to link it to your license. That's described in a user guide that comes with Excel CL. Within the user guide, you will see a full introduction and reference chapter that describe all the concepts and allow you to do custom things with Cloud License if you choose. But for most users, you can just follow the simple step-by-step tutorial to apply a simple product license to your Excel workbook, or a trial by or trial subscription type license. For a simple product license, when the user launches the workbook, an activation dialog is presented. The user fills out the dialog and clicks to activate. If they choose to activate later, the workbook closes. Let's launch it again, and this time we're going to enter a serial number that was provided by the developer along with the information requested. When we click Activate now, the workbook is activated successfully and it's available for use. Each launch thereafter on that same computer, it'll just be presented with the workbook. Let's demonstrate a workbook that has a simple try-by license. On launch, a dialog is presented. The user can click a button to present a web page to actually purchase a serial number and then activate the software if they'd like. But in this case, they're going to click a button to request a code so they can use the software for a period of time and then decide whether or not they want to make a purchase. So when they click the button, they'll be presented with a dialog where they can enter some information. And they're now requesting an activation code by email. few moments later, the user receives a message that a trial code was sent to them by email, so they just relaunch the workbook, and this time they're going to click on the trial code button. The same information they typed in is still retained, and they just enter the code that they received in that email message. Click Activate Now. The trial is successfully activated, and now they can use the workbook for some specified period of time. Each time they launch the workbook during the trial process, they can just click Continue and continue to use the trial. Eventually the workbook will expire and they'll have to buy a serial number. Once the user is ready to activate a product or subscription license, they'll just enter the serial number they purchased, click Activate Now, and now they can use the software forever if it's a product license or as long as they pay the software subscription amount.